No, just eliminate it. You should have the same. If you look at it,
There we go. That was a terrible signal. Let's try check one, Mitchell. Good to see you, brother. I'm gonna try to disconnect, try different better here, guys. I don't know how good this is gonna work, but you can see we're gathering here as a group. This is the Scott County VA Gun Owners Group. We're in Gate City, Virginia, up here at the fire hall. I don't know if there's any way for me to try to just set this camera up here. I'll try something.
Sitting right here.
Right there? Wheel up. It needs to lean back against something, though. Let's see here.
Hey.
I'll find somewhere here. Oh, there we go. You want to use that?
Not unless I need to. That right there. That'll work.
That'll sort of work, won't it? I'll tell you what. Here, let me put this bottle up here. That'll work.
Okay.
That way, in case you need that. There we go.
Can you fold that back and
Yeah, there we go.
like so? Maybe not.
That's all right. There we go.
Okay.
Better than nothing. We're just going to let it run here. Yep.
Is that to YouTube?
It is. Mitchell Reese, yes, sir. There's a bunch of people here. It's good to see you, brother. We're going to try to do something, get it set here. There we go. That's better than nothing. All right, guys, online. We got 8 folks online. Guys, listen, we're just going to leave this rolling here for a little while. It may buffer some.
Now, you know
But we're
this
gonna
is
try.
what I wanted done, so why don't you just go ahead and lead the way?
Just roll with it, okay?
Yes, just roll with it.
We'll start about 6 o'clock. That sound good to you?
What
You're
time
on
is
live. Yeah, you are. I told you I'm going live. Here we go. She jumped out of the way. You believe that? Yeah, we got 8 people online so far. Guys, here's Delynn. You all see Delynn sometimes comes on there, so Delyn's online.
She hides when she can.
We got a pretty low connection, so I don't know how good they're going to get us going. Sound's coming in now. What's up? Good to see you, Prescott Outdoors. We're just here at the meeting. Guys, if this connection is going to be bad, we may end up dropping off here. We're only getting about, well, it's jumping like 1 frame a second. How you doing, sir?
Hey.
But if it keeps staying this low, we may end up dropping out here in a minute, guys. Wanted to try to have the meeting online. I don't know if that's going to work. Guys, give me a number 1 if we're coming in good. Just give me a number 1 comment. You can see we got a lot of good folks here.
Have you been on your side?
Yes, Leonard Pullman, we see that there, and there is a lot of information about some of the ones that are going between the Senate and the House. So that's something we're definitely going to be interested in. We'll be talking about it tonight. We're here at the Gate City Fire Hall. You ready to roll?
We got 3 supervisors.
I see them. I see Selma and Mr. Mann, and who else we got?
If anyone wants to speak, we'll give them that opportunity.
That sounds good.
Then,
Prescott Outdoors is there and they're good. They can hear us good. I'm probably just going to just sit this up somewhere and just let it roll.
who you going to get to say the prayer?
I'll say prayer.
Okay.
Unless there's somebody else you think you want to holler
No,
out.
no.
It'd be nice if Brother. I was hoping Eddie'd be here.
No,
He's got
good.
a lot of people know him real well. So
Him or Marshall?
yeah.
Start with the pledge and then the prayer. That's the way we want it.
Works for me. Try to get this camera set somewhere. Go with the flow. Yeah, we're going to leave it running. Guys, we're just going to leave it running there. All the way walking around. We're getting a little bit better connection there. So y'all can at least listen in, but we're just going to leave it running, leave it live. Is there anybody else? Yeah. Introduce our admins. So Mike's not here, right?
Danny said he'll be here sometime in October.
Right, we're going to talk about everybody. About our officials, then I guess I'll talk about you. He's making games, so we can talk about everybody. Discuss.
That's just ideas. That's ideas and mothers with ideas.
You care one on one?
Yeah, no, that is just
We're still rolling. That's good to hear. Guys, if y'all have any questions, I don't know if I'll see them. We'll be listening to the crowd here. He's still working. Oh, Jason Willis? Oh, Wilson.
Wilson, that's right.
Yeah, he's still working. Everybody, if I can have your attention, please, just for a moment. We're gonna do a word of prayer, and then we're gonna rise and then do a pledge of allegiance. But we'll start with a word of prayer, if that's all right with everybody. I'll lead us in prayer. All right, bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, just want to thank you for this day, God, and thank you for this opportunity, Lord, to be here and have fellowship, God. And Lord, I want to thank everybody that came out here, Lord, and just Lord, everything that's done tonight, Lord, we just hope it glorifies you, Lord, and just it renews our spirits and keeps us strong. And Lord, for the efforts that we're all working on here in Scott County, Lord, and all across this Commonwealth and all across this nation, God, I just ask that you put your hand of blessing upon it. Lord, just bless the efforts, Lord, if it's your will and what you'd have to be done, Lord. We ask that would be what ends up happening, Lord. Father, again, just ask you bless everyone that's here, Lord, as we have conversation tonight, Lord, let it be something that just, again, Lord, just glorifies you and just renews our strength and just keeps us strong in our efforts, Father. Father, I wish again, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this day. Thank you for our health, Lord. All those things are on our hearts and our minds, Lord. We all have prayer requests, Lord. So all those unspoken prayer requests, God, I'd ask that you watch over those. All those lost and afflicted, hurt and lost, whatever it may be, God, I ask that you put your hand over them, give them that healing touch if that's what it needs, or lead them to you, God, whatever it may be, Father. We just ask that you do that, Father. Lord, as we go out and as we leave tonight here after a while, God, just ask to keep us all safe until the next time we can get together. And as always, Lord, we just ask that you watch over us and keep us safe. All these things in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Oh, by the way, can I put my wife's name on that petition?
I think it'd have to be her. It would have
She
to be
has
her.
to sign.
Yeah, she'd have to be the one to sign.
I've got some, and I'm going to be making door-to-door
Okay.
But
calls.
the question, just real quick, as far as the petition, you have to sign yourself. You can't sign a spouse or someone else. Just keep that in mind. So, we'll do a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. You don't care if I smoke your name? Okay. Well, good. I hope you enjoy it.
When you say the prayer, I remember that prayer.
Well, that's good. I hope so. That's good to hear. So, folks, we're going to go ahead and just get started here real quick. We just got a few things we're going to walk through and talk about. So it's glad to see all the faces. I think we were only anticipating like 50. So I don't know how many here. I ain't got a head count. It'd be nice if we do a head count here in a little bit, but we've got more than 50 in here. We do have, just so you know, guys, if any of y'all watch us on YouTube streaming live up here, so we've got some folks online watching as well.
Tell me I got coffee, Decker.
There's coffee,
Cookies and water.
cookies, and water in the back if y'all need some refreshments. We did have a donation bucket that went around. It's somewhere right here. Actually, stick that in there too if you don't care. So all the money to the donation will be going, anything above the $25, which is what it took to rent the building, will be going to the fire hall. So anything that we get collected that will be going to that once we cover the $25 cost that we had to rent the building. So real quick, wanted to start with the introductions because this is, I guess, our first official public meeting with everybody. I'm assuming everybody probably heard one way or another about the meeting through the Facebook group, Scott County VA Gun Owners. So I guess I'll just take that chance. If someone just told you about the meeting, we are on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, feel free to look us up. We're on YouTube. If you're not on Facebook, I tell people all the time, if you're not on Facebook, folks, don't waste your time. Don't sign up, okay? But you can follow us on YouTube. We try to bring news through there. Of course, obviously, the best way is through word of mouth with your neighbors and your friends and your family also. So, but we want to take a minute and introduce the admins. I'm going to go last, so we'll let DeLynn start out here.
Oh, I'm DeLynn Lawson.
I'm Patricia Edwards.
We got some more around the room. Otherwise, Mulehead, right?
Yes, sir.
Dave Carter. Dave Carter. Anybody else? We got Morgan and Mike that's not here yet. I don't know if they'll be showing up after a while or not. So hopefully they'll be here after a while. Excuse me, sir. But that's kind of the administrator group on the Facebook page. So now that y'all hopefully can put a face with everybody. If you ever need anything, as far as the group and you're curious, have questions, reach out to any of us on Facebook. On the YouTube page, you can get us at Scott County VA Gun Owners @gmail.com. That's just kind of a group account we've got set up as well. Again, always having faces with it's good. I'm just tickled to death to have a big crowd. This is more than I thought, so this is absolutely fantastic. We have a bunch of our officials in the room, so I know I'm putting you on the spot, but I was hoping maybe y'all could introduce yourselves. Would that be all right, Selma? So, always have a faces with it's good.
I am on the Board of Supervisors from District 6.
Who's next? Don't be shy.
I'm Danny Mann on the Board of Supervisors, Dungannon, or District 5.
Let's see, is there anybody else?
Jeremy.
There he is.
I'm Jeremy Hearn, Supervisor District 3.
All right.
George.
I think that's the only one. So, first off, I want to appreciate y'all for being here. And guys, to everybody that's here, looking at some of our leaders that are here in the county and here to be a member of this, it just speaks well to our representation that we have in Scott County. We are fortunate to have a good group, not only in our Board of Supervisors, but Delegate Terry Kilgore, Todd Pillion representing this region, this district. We've got some really good representation here, fighting hard for our Second Amendment rights, which is something obviously we're all here that's near and dear to our heart. So, amongst the other things that we're trying to get, shoved down our throat from Richmond. So we all stand united in that. So it's great to have representation. Next on here is Jeff to talk. So I've already been talking, but I guess I'll just jump right in here because there's a few things I did want to share with you guys.
Introduce the two. We got two from Daniel Gade.
Oh yes. If we could, from the back, Mr. Gates, we have representation from Mr. Gates.
We got two.
Take a few minutes if y'all don't care. Go ahead and talk a little bit
Y'all
about that.
want to come up here and talk about Daniel?
It's probably easier for me to stand back here if you guys
Okay.
prefer.
Yeah.
It's kind of a rough road to get up there. And you know what? We probably need to get out here pretty quick because it's going to get hot. No, it's a pleasure for me to be here tonight with you guys. There's another rep here that come over from Washington County with Daniel Gates' campaign. Guys, I don't think, there he is right here. Mr. Hargis, stand up there right quick. He's also representing Daniel Gade from Washington County. And we thank you for coming over too. So
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
well, I think everybody knows the last 3 or 4 months has been pretty rough on us. We kind of see what happened. We kind of see what shook out. We know what we're looking at. We've got a great old big problem. We've got a gigantic problem. Well, about the 10th day of November, I got a phone call from a guy, and he said, hey, I just bought 1,000 rounds of ammo. When are we leaving? I said, ho, big guy, wait up. We're not going anywhere just yet. I got another phone call from another guy that said, hey, I just bought a new gun. What's going on? Are we going to do this or what? And I'm thinking, hold up. Well, I don't know if you guys know, over in Norton, I've got a really good friend. His name is Mark Caruso. He's a retired lieutenant colonel out of the Army, and I retired out of the Army as well, and I see a couple faces in here that I know. I got Mark Caruso over in Norton. He calls me and says, what's going on, man? He said, everybody's wanting to go to Richmond and start shooting. And I was like, yeah, that's really what they want to do. So, yeah, we got a big problem, and I think that we've got a way forward. I think there's a way forward. Now, let me tell you what has to happen, okay? You can look back over your years, and you can think about the elections that you've been part of. And you can probably think about the elections that you probably didn't go be part of. And I'm talking about primaries and so forth. Maybe general elections or county elections. Maybe you didn't get to vote. But I don't think I need to say it any more serious than what we need to do in the next 3 years. And I believe at this point in the ball game, everybody knows what I'm talking about. The next 3 years will be the most important elections of the history of the United States. That is, as a free country. As a free country, the next 3 years are going to be hugely important. Let me tell you what's going to happen here in the next couple of weeks. Does everybody know Mr. Van Cleve, who is the chairman, president of the BCDL. Well, Mr. Van Cleve, Philip, he has, his legal team is processing several different writs of mandamus and several different injunctions to hold these firearms bills up in court. So they're going to get tangled up in the Supreme Court for a while, okay? They passed out of several committees, but none of them went through legal review, so they still got to go through legal review. Everybody understands that when one house votes on it, they got to pass it off to another committee, and then we get to a place where we have the changeover. All the bills change from one house down to the House and House up to the Senate and so forth, back through committees and so forth. So nothing has passed, nothing has had the governor's signature on it at this point. So we're still probably at least 2 weeks away from getting a signature from the governor, somewhere right in there. So we've got a great old big problem. Now let me tell you just how big that problem is. You all sit back right now and you might think that our Second Amendment is our greatest problem that we have right now. Well, let me tell you what the greatest problem we have right now is. Okay? It's probably equivalent to what we're looking at. They have proposed over 24, the last time I looked, there were 24 bills that were going before the House and the Senate to modify the absentee voting process. Okay? Now, I am not a political person. I stayed in the Army for 24 years. I voted for the person who was going to make sure that me and my soldiers were able to feed our family. Okay? That's how we did it. I'm not a political person, but I'm here to tell you right now, the state of Virginia, in its current posture, is attempting to make this next election go really bad. They have proposed to relax the absentee voting laws, allowing someone to go into the polls, fill out a voter registration form, and walk over to the next table and vote. That's not hearsay. What number is it, Travis? Do you remember the number on it? 199 or 399?
It's 399.
$3.99.
And it's in the Senate as well.
Yeah. So we're not making this up. This is real. As a matter of fact, you really can't make this stuff up. It's really real. If they pass those, hey, you know what? Our Second Amendment is going to be in trouble. Our First Amendment is going to be in trouble. So really they all tie together. Okay? Has everybody heard about the red flag laws?
Yes.
Yeah.
Chances are the red flag law is going to pass right on through. What's going to happen is it's going to get tied up in the Supreme Court for a little while under legal review. Now, what the sheriffs have said, is our sheriff here tonight?
No.
Mr. Eads, right? Sheriff Eads? Is that y'all's new sheriff?
Yes.
Okay. We need to have him at these meetings. He needs to be here, so we need to get message to him that if we have another meeting, he needs to be here.
Well, I'll speak to that in a minute too.
He needs to understand that we are counting on him as the highest ranking constitutional officer in Scott County. We're counting on him to protect us and to defend our Second Amendment. Now, I know everybody from, how many people in here from Wise County? Got a couple, I think, right? Yeah, I got a couple. Wise County's already stood up strong. As a matter of fact, they done been News Channel 5, WCYB, JHL, everybody's done cover. Lee County, Gary Parsons done stood up strong, said, do not cross Powell Mountain and think you're coming into Lee County taking a gun. Not gonna happen. We need to get Scott County's on board the same way. I think he did publish something that I've seen on Facebook, so he's a go. But here's where it is. Our sheriff has to protect us at this time until we get our people voted back in to get these reversed. Okay? We can reverse them, that's not a problem. The problem is how much damage is going to be done prior to us getting it reversed. Whose house are they going to drive up to thinking that they're going to get your guns because the neighbor called and said you shot at their dog last week? Okay? So this thing has potential to go really bad. Let me touch just a second back on this absentee voting thing. I really like for you guys to do some research and take a good strong look at this. And this is what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to find somebody that lives close to you or that you know, because I think everybody in here would know somebody that's not registered to vote or hasn't voted in a long time, okay? I work the polls in Dryden. That's where I'm from, is Dryden. This year, I told my wife that I'd be gone from 5 o'clock till 8 o'clock. I said from 5 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock that night, I'll be gone because I'm going to haul as many people as I possibly can. It's all I can do. Yeah, I went, several of us, we were in the military for a long time, fighting to defend what we can do about that. So I feel it's up on me on election day to work the polls and haul as many people as I can and thank them for being great Americans for coming to the polls to protect our rights. This is boiled down to our basic God-given rights. And everybody's seen around the world, right? Let me tell you something. You are the last free people on the planet. Somebody disagree? You are the last free people on this earth. Now, Germans think they're free, but their government hasn't tried to shove anything down their throat yet. They're still not free. They don't own guns. If you own a gun, it has to stay at the local constables, at the sheriff's office or police department, and you have to have a special permit to sign it out and go hunting with the bird hunting club, okay? So you get to use your gun for 2 or 3 hours a year, and that's it. I got a buddy, when he retired, he stayed in Germany, married a German lady, and they had a couple kids, and he comes home every year, and he says, man, he said, this is the last great place on earth. He said, this is the last great place on earth. He just landed day before yesterday in Connecticut. He's going to stay with his dad for 2 days, and he's going to come down this way and do some trout fishing and hang out with me and shoot his gun a little bit because he don't get to shoot in Germany. I can't think of another country in the world that has the liberties that we have. And folks, I'm telling you, if you think for 1 second that they will not take them, you're wrong. And let me tell you why. In order for the world order to go into effect, we are the last piece of the puzzle. Does everybody understand that? For years and years, we've heard them talking about the New World Order, right? Well, guess who's financing the New World Order right now? George Soros and Mike Bloomberg. If you guys can't realize right now how real and how serious this is, George Soros and Michael Bloomberg pumped over $88 million into Virginia this election. $88 million.
We planned that right.
Hey, D. Lee was about to go look for a spaceship. D. Lee was about to hit the door. Hey, gang, let me tell you about Daniel Gade, okay? I don't know Daniel Gade that well. As a matter of fact, he came over to Abingdon about a month ago, and I told my wife, Tina, I said, you know what, we're going to go see this guy. I said, one, I want to meet him because he's a 2-time Purple Heart winner, and he retired as Lieutenant Colonel out of the Army. I said, I want to go meet him, and I want to tell him I want to thank him for his service. So I walked in, he was standing at the door. We got to talking. That was the day, Mr. Hargis, we all had the meeting over there in Washington County. So we got to talking about what we're going to do and how this is going to have to go and what we're going to have to do and how serious we're going to have to be. And I left there that day, and my wife looked at me, she said, what do you think? And I said, you know what? I said, in the 25 years that I've been able to either vote absentee or vote in person, this is the first time I've ever seen a man that has the ability to beat Mark Warner. And let me tell you why I said that. He's not a lawyer, and I don't have anything against lawyers, but Daniel's not a lawyer. He got his PhD as a public administrations and policy PhD. The man is outstanding when it comes to his academics. He's outstanding. More than that for me is he was severely wounded in combat. His right leg was amputated. He was awarded 2 Purple Hearts, and he was also awarded Legion of Merit. And he never let life get him down. He has a wife, her name is Wendy, and they have 3 girls, 3 kids. He got into the paraplegic Olympics and won it 2 years in a row. and he rode a bicycle 112 miles with one leg. And I told Tina, I said, you know what? If that man can ride a bicycle 112 miles with one leg, I'm going to vote for him. It's that simple. Because he's got more gold than I have. So I've actually talked with him every week. There's not a week goes by that he don't call and ask how things are going. And I said, you know, everybody that I talk to, they want to see you. And he says, I know, but this is what we talked about, gang. This is what I told him. This is what I told D. Lynn. This is what I told Travis. Everybody that I've associated. Where's Brian at? Everybody that I've associated with when it comes to Daniel Gade, this is what I've said. I said, sir, I said, you need to stay up that road. I said, wherever that population is, did y'all know that Loudoun County had over 345,000 registered voters? I said, sir, if you need to be in Loudoun County every day, you go to Loudoun County every day. If you need to be in Fairfax, you go to Fairfax. If you need to be in Newport News, you go to Newport News. He was in Newport News yesterday and had a great turnout. I said, you let me take care of everything down the road. I said, when we get you nominated, we'll get you down the road. I said, that's what I'll promise to you. We will do our part in Southwest Virginia. You come and see us when we get you nominated. I'll tell you a little bit more about it. He does not wear a prosthetic leg. He's amputated up here real high at his hip. He carries his crutch under his arm and he walks around. And he don't want anybody to feel sorry for him. He is a fighter and a go-getter. I like him because he's one of us. I don't want to separate I don't want to polarize our citizenship and our population. Daniel knows where we're coming from, okay? He's already went public on his 2A stance. He's already getting endorsements from across the board. Dan Bongino just endorsed him. He released a page the other day of his endorsements. I haven't even had a chance to look at all of his endorsements. So Daniel's getting endorsed. I believe I can trust him. I believe he's the man that can begin to save the situation that we're in, okay? And I'm not going to say anything bad about anybody, politicians or whatever. Folks, I really don't have to because I think we all can see where we've gotten to. So this is my charge to you. Do your part. You've got to really understand where we stand today. I had a conversation with my 24-year-old daughter and I said, baby, are you sure you want to have another child? And she said, Dad, what are you talking about? I said, babe, think about this for a minute. You're going to bring another child. She already has two. I said, you're going to bring another child into this world, and right now it's so uncertain that it could be a travesty for our grandchildren to have to live through what they may have to live through here in the future. Okay? So, I know each and every one of you are dedicated. There's no doubt in my mind. But what really blows my mind is this. Who can tell me right now how many people voted in the 2016 Scott County general election? Huh? Overall, the big number on top. Let me say 10,500. Is that about right? Let me tell you how. Lee County's general election, with a population of 25,000 people, our general election, we cast 7,200 votes. Do the math on that, that ain't good. We got 25,000 people right off the top, 7,000 can't vote because they're under the age of 18. So that other 18,000, we got a problem. So, you see where I'm going, right? We got a lot of work to do, gang, and it's not going to be easy. Nobody said this was going to be easy. And it starts this year. We've got our general election this year, and Virginia has one of its senatorial races this year. And we can't lose it. I don't want to incite panic. That's not what I'm here to do. I just want you to feel what I feel, and I want you to buy into what I'm selling. Because if we don't win this, I don't know where it goes, and I don't think anybody does. But that man right there, that's it. Okay? If this is a sign of the end times, we all know that we're all ready for it. Most of us are ready for it. Okay? God brought us here. He's what's that old saying? He ain't gonna lead you to it if he can't lead you through it, right? So take it upon yourself to do something special, especially when you got a good retired sergeant major, first sergeant sitting around you, right? Do something. Take it upon yourself to make a difference this year. Daniel has a website. It's called GadeForVirginia.com. It's on these flyers. He asked me, along with a couple other members, he said, don't ask them for $100. He said, tell every single one of them to send me $5. Get on his website, make a donation to him. He fell short last month and he fell short this month. I guess there's reasons behind that because every politician on Facebook is asking for money. But I believe in giving money where it counts. I want to see it make a difference. And I believe it will make a difference if we support Daniel Gade. Somebody asked me who was running against Daniel for the nomination. Is his name Thomas Especial? Has anybody heard that name?
There's 6 actually on.
Well, the one that's running tight. See, Daniel's right there in the front with all the.
Is that the one in Virginia Beach?
Uh huh.
Is it Amari?
Especial is the one that's Daniel's worried about Especial. That's the only one he's worried about right now.
Right.
I think his name's Thomas.
I think you're right.
And here's my point.
No.
When Daniel started this off a month ago, where did he start at? He started in Abingdon. He come all the way to Southwest Virginia, which I told him when I walked in there. I said, hey, you might think you're in Southwest Virginia. You might have thought you was in Southwest Virginia when you passed Roanoke. But I said, it still goes 96 miles to the west. He said, 96 miles? I said, yeah. So they really don't understand that Virginia's pretty deep. So I want you guys to buy in, okay? Here's the most important date, June the 9th. Tell everybody that you know to try to get to the polls on June the 9th. And let's start by, let's try to fix the corruption that's going on. I don't know if we can fix it. If God wants it fixed, it will be fixed. But I believe we've got to do our part. I believe we've got to work hard to try to fix it. Any questions whatsoever?
You might want to hit on the National Popular Vote Compact.
Oh,
Yes.
Lord.
Yes.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you know about the National Popular Vote Compact. Okay, some of you don't. Okay, this one's passed as well. This one passed the Senate. The National Popular Vote Compact for 2020 is legislation going through the House right now, the State House, and if the governor lays his signature to it, it will grant Virginia's electoral votes to the popular vote winner in the 2020 general election.
Not the state.
Not
the
the,
nation.
it'll grant, see, what they're gonna do is they're gonna take Virginia's popular vote, electoral college vote, and they're gonna send it over here and hold it until the popular vote winner's announced. When the popular vote winner's announced, they will give them electoral votes to the popular vote winner. They have completely usurped our process.
Yes, they have.
The other idea to eliminate the electoral vote.
Right.
Exactly. That's their way to eliminate electoral college. Folks, I'm glad you brought that up, Travis. I can't even stand here before you guys right now, and you ladies, and even understand that this is real. It's hard to believe it's even real. Now, there may be some people on the other side try to spin it and make it sound good.
You can't make it sound good.
I haven't heard of one argument that made it sound good. But there's people trying to spin it. I'm just telling you.
We want our
Let's
votes
take
to go who we vote for.
If Virginia votes for Trump in 2020,
And wins.
and if Virginia's vote is overwhelming, is one vote higher for Trump than anybody else,
It will not matter.
it will not matter.
Unless he
All of our
wins.
electoral votes will go to the winner of the
Yeah.
popular vote nationwide.
Nationwide.
I don't want Californians picking my president.
That's right.
That's what they.
I know it's even hard to even imagine it.
Amen.
I mean, it's hard to imagine, but it's real. Well, you know, here's the problem. They can use it until the Supreme Court tells them they can't. And getting it through the Supreme Court so the Supreme Court can tell them they can't use it doesn't keep them from using it in 2020.
What about this recall they tried to do? We give him.
I saw today that they had let me explain that. I saw today where they had 70,000 names on which recall was it, Travis?
It's for the governor.
I mean, what are the organizations?
This is Senator Amanda Chang. There's a number, I'm gonna address that in a minute.
Conservatives,
He's got
right?
a bunch of stuff up
I've
here
got a lot
like
to talk
that.
about here,
He's
man.
gonna agree.
Constitutional conservatives, I believe, had 70,000. They had 70,000 signatures on a recall. The recall petition takes 200,000 signatures for the recall, and the recall has to be certified in the House. Do I need to say anything else? Do I need to say anything else?
Takes
Just,
10%.
it takes 10% of the Virginia voting population, which is about 8.5 million, so you're talking about 800,000 to
But
get
it
that
has
recall
to
work.
be certified in the House of Representatives.
Correct.
Yes.
Who controls the
If
House of
they get their
Representatives?
way, there's also another bill in there that's gonna raise that 10%
Okay,
to
let me go back.
25%.
He just asked me the question, what's the chance of getting that done? And here's what I'm gonna tell you. Folks, we have 3 years. That's all we've got left. We've got 3 years. We've got this year, 2020, 2021 for the gubernatorial race and a couple delegates, and 2022 for another Senate race and a couple delegates. That's all we got. Yeah, we're that far gone. I'm not kidding you. Like I said, I don't want to instill panic, but that's how far this has gone. And if you sit for a moment in silence and let that resonate, folks, it ain't good. Can you all see now why I drove all the way from Dryden to Abingdon to meet Daniel Gade? Can you see why that I've drove over Coburn, Appalachia, Norton, Pound, Jonesville, Duffield over here for the big meeting? I've gone to every one of them because I know that this is it. This is the final straw. And you know what? We've gotten so comfortable, America in general has gotten so comfortable with sitting at home with the door closed. What happens outside that door stays outside that door. What happens in my house happens in my house. Folks, it's beyond that now. We have got to, I tell you the general rule of thumb. You go find Scott County's last general election numbers. Okay? If you don't double them numbers this year, we won't win. Now, what I'm saying is, whatever the popular vote won in Scott County, whatever that vote was, it could have been 8,000, 9,000, whatever. I know Trump won Scott County. How many did he win Scott County with? 82%. So he probably pulled 11,000 votes out of Scott County. We need to try to double 11,000 votes this year. If we don't try to do it, we ain't really accomplishing nothing. But I'll tell you something right now. I think we can double my votes in Lee County. I think we can double. Because I only got a double. Out of a population of 25,800, I only got a double 7,200 votes. So I'm looking for 14,400 votes. You guys are looking for 22,000 votes. Oh, you know, you got more than that. Is that your all's last census was 23? Well, I think we got to cut some of ours off because they lost their voting rights. I ain't gonna say nothing else. We used to have a drug problem.
Can Trump protect their Second Amendment rights as long as...
Hold on, guys. Say it again, sir.
Can Trump protect their Second Amendment rights as long as he's president?
Okay. You brought up a
I
good
hear you
point.
say that, Bill.
You brought up a good point. He has made a statement that nobody is going to infringe upon our Second Amendment right. He really has no grounds to say that unless he has the Supreme Court's backing to say that. Why? Because the states have sovereignty. Okay? He can, if he declares a state of emergency, he can do some things. But as long as the states have sovereignty, he will more than likely not become part of it. He has voiced his opinion. We heard him say that. So it just depends on how far it goes. And you know, if I was president, I probably already stepped in. It just depends on how far this goes before we see him step in. One of the last polls that was taken said that the majority of Virginians did want common sense gun control, safety control. So they still had the polls backing up everything they're doing. They're not polling Southwest Virginia. They're not polling any red states, any red counties in Virginia. They can't be. So, okay.
And their poll questions
Horrible.
are deceptive. So you look at it and you go, well, if I say A, I could also say B. So what you do is you just ignore it.
Yeah.
Don't even go there, because it's going to be twisted.
How many in here's done the telephone polls that's come out in the last couple of weeks? You got them? Well, you know why you didn't get it? Because I know exactly why you didn't get it. Because y'all be like, oh, I don't know who that is.
The thing of it is years ago, I sent Mark Warner an email when Obama was trying to pass the Obamacare. So now they think I'm a Democrat. So I get all the Democrat polls. They tickle me to death.
Yeah, I get all those too. I'm you know, it's keep your
All right.
enemies closer than you keep your friends.
Oh, yeah.
It's that concept. So you see what they're looking at their internals when you get their emails. They're running scared.
Yep.
They're scared. And especially with all this that's happened with the Second Amendment in Virginia, they are not liking the Democrats. They're getting a little bit scared.
Yeah. Well, again, you know, I used to get in arguments with my dad. My dad was a farmer. He retired out of the military, worked in the coal mines for a while. My dad was a diehard Democrat. Okay? And I would say that a lot of people in here was in the same situation I was in. Dad, I told Dad, you need to look strong at this. This ain't right. Oh, I'm a Democrat. I'm gonna vote this way. And they proposed in 2012 to reduce my father's retirement. They were going to reduce his VA benefits that he received for being a disabled veteran. And I printed it off on the computer and I took it down there and I give it to him. I said, Dad, you need to read that. He said, I can't read it. I ain't got my glasses. So I said, I'll read it for you. And I read it to him and I showed him what they were proposing. This is under the previous administration. I said, this is what they're proposing. They're thinking that they're going to cut your benefit and they're going to save money in the VA, and that's how they're going to make up their ground. Well, I can tell you from a personal standpoint, in 1993, I was going through flight school to fly a helicopter in Fort Rucker, Alabama. I was sitting in a classroom just like this on Wednesday morning. We started that class on Monday. The chief warrant officer walked through the door and he said, gentlemen, y'all need to report over to the S3 shop at 12 o'clock today. And I'm like, what's he talking about? So we all go to the S3 shop. We had orders returning us back to our units because the program had been terminated. And when they terminated it, trust me, they cut it off. So under that similar administration, we got cut hard. Okay, and I don't need to go into military application because, man, we fought some hard years. The old saying goes, we the willing, led by the unknowing, are doing the impossible for the ungrateful. We have done so much for so long with so little. We are now prepared to do anything with nothing. That's what we did. That's exactly what we did. So we're in a place right now where other countries are paying us. How many times have we said we want America to get paid? We want to get paid for doing something good for the world. We're finally in a place where we're getting paid. We're finally in a place where Mexico is paying their fair share of the tariff coming across the border. Anything they ship out of Mexico, especially a Ford truck, they ship it out of Mexico, guess who gets paid? We do. Guess how we got a tax return here back a year ago? Because we got paid. Our country's getting paid. Anyway, any other questions, guys? Anything that I can do?
We're going to have more general questions here in a little bit too.
Yeah.
So if there's anything particular from Mr. Gade.
Anything?
Yeah, I'm kind of getting off the subject of voting. I like protests. I like to do protests.
Yeah.
Protests do that a lot.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
You know why he says that? Because we took him to Richmond and he got up there and was about to be a thug. He was ready.
But I like that.
We had a ball.
The question I want to ask you, you made a mention outside, the possibility of having a parade in Pennington County.
I'm glad you brought that up.
We're doing it too.
Did y'all get that? Okay.
No, we've done been talking about it among us, we was gonna bring it up to them tonight.
Are you guys tracking on the date?
No,
I
we've not got nothing
I
decided.
haven't pushed the date yet, but what I was considering was April the 19th. April the 19th is when the shot was heard around the world. The Revolutionary War started in the United States at Lexington Green, Massachusetts. So if it's something that we could do on April the 19th, it is a Sunday. Y'all do it when you want to. But I think it's a good idea to do it.
We was gonna bring it up tonight.
I believe when we posted that, within the first 24 hours, we had like 154 likes on that post.
Right.
154 people from across the state of Virginia were all about having a parade in their local communities. A 2A parade. Bring the four-wheeler, bring the horse, bring the tractor, whatever you want to do. Bring your guns, but we're thinking about doing a Second Amendment parade and calling News Channel 5, WCYB, JHL, and let them all see it. They need to understand that we ain't going to back down. So, anybody else have anything? If not, I will pass it to the front. I'm one of the admins on VA Gun Owners. William H. Willis is my name. If you guys need me, hit me up on VA Gun Owners. I'll be glad to get back to you. If you have not signed the petition, go ahead, sir.
If you like what Donald Trump's doing, get you a hat and wear it.
Yes, sir. I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
I wear mine everywhere I go.
Hey, Donald Trump will be able to retire off all the hats he sold.
I was at Walmart the other day and this old lady passed by me. I waited so much and didn't think about what she said. She looked up at me and went, Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
And I wondered, what's wrong with her? But she was gone with what she said.
Well, listen, I appreciate you guys for letting me speak in front of you tonight. I really hope that I give you something to take away here. I need you to remember June the 9th. June the 9th is the primary. We need everybody we can possibly get. I told the lieutenant colonel, I told a retired lieutenant colonel that we was going to take care of it down here, and I can't take care of it without you guys. I hope he gets it too. I think he's the best candidate. You know, I don't want to say that the fact he's got 2 Purple Hearts is going to get him a couple extra votes, but I guarantee you I guarantee you that he has 2 Purple Hearts and he's going to get some more votes because of it. I just guarantee it. People like a patriot. He's a patriot. Guys,
right.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. All right, I've taken a whole bunch of notes here. I'm going to talk about some things here in a minute too. I believe we have with us Debbie Atwell. She had a few things she wanted to say just real quick before I speak, if that's okay. Go ahead, Debbie. You got the floor for a few minutes.
Thank you. I know this is a gun meeting, but I want to talk about politics for just a couple of minutes because, like he said, if we don't get people registered to vote and get them out to vote, we can kiss our state goodbye and our country. Now, to accomplish all that, the political aspect of this, we have a fella named Adam Talbert, who is the 9th District Chairman of the Republican Party. I belong to the Republican Party in Washington County. I'm the treasurer there. I've turned in my paperwork to run against Adam for the 9th District Chairman. Adam has been 9th District Chairman for 6 years. He's up for re-election in April at the 9th District Convention. So I will be running against him. And how that works is when you go to your local unit meeting, Scott County has a meeting coming up. 13th. Thank you. I thought that was it, but sometimes I get them screwed up. I've got so many in my mind. You need to go to that meeting, turn in your paperwork to be a delegate to the 9th District Congressional Convention. It's in Woodville on April 18th. That's a Saturday. That is where the election will happen. I need all the help I can get because number one, it's hard to beat an incumbent, but you want to talk for me? No. The past 6 years that Adam has been the chairman, he sends out the meeting notices every 3 months, and that's pretty much it. We had all this stuff after election last year start coming up about the guns. He didn't do one thing. I mean, he didn't send out anything encouraging the people who were doing the Second Amendment sanctuary. We did that in Washington County. We are a Second Amendment sanctuary. Y'all did too. During that time, none of that, I mean, crickets from him. He didn't say a word. Didn't encourage anybody. He has not done any voter registration. No get out the vote stuff. And I can tell you, after I got elected as treasurer in the Scott County, Washington County Republican Party, we started on our own doing voter registration. And the first year we did it, when Trump was running, we actually had people begging us to register them to vote so they could vote for Trump. We did over 1,000 voter registrations that year in Washington County. And that wasn't done because the 9th District Chairman helped us do anything. We did that on our own. So my plan, if I get elected as the chairman, is to start beating the bushes, getting people registered to vote, getting people out to vote on election day, and a few other things. And the other thing that has griped me this recently is all these people in Southwest Virginia who suddenly want to become part of West Virginia so that they can eliminate Richmond. Well, that's not my idea of a good time. I was born in Virginia, I was raised in Virginia. We just need to take Virginia back.
Thank you, Dad.
Indigenous is the right term for our families, our bones are buried here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, that's why,
Many
you know,
generations.
so there's a lot of folks. I mean, guys, like I said, that was blank a few minutes ago, so I wrote all kinds of scratching. Went to the next page here on some things I want to talk about. First off, real quick, a couple more came in. Could you introduce yourself, my brother?
Yeah, I'm Marshall Tippett. I'm the supervisor here in Scott County, and I do have a Trump hat. I appreciate what you're all doing to help this cause, and you know, we're going to have to change it in the ballot box. I think that's what he's talking about, you know, back here. So we've got to get the voters out. That's the only way it can happen. But we got to spread this word not only in our county. If we can cross-talk this over to other counties, that's what we got to do, and get this momentum rolling in order to do that. And so I believe, you know, it can be done. And certainly we've got to pray about the situation.
Amen.
And Lord, tell us to do this. Thank you.
There's one other in the back of the room, one of our other administrators. If you could introduce yourself, please.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Morgan Elliott. Y'all probably see me posting around, fussing at people for using hard language and all that other stuff on the Facebook page. But I'm glad to see this many people out here tonight. Appreciate everyone coming out.
And then there was one more official statement we were going to have tonight.
Yeah, Stephanie Kruby, our supervisor at large, is out of town. She wanted to come, but she's out of town, and she told me to tell all you Scott Countyans that she is behind us and she supports us 100% on what we're doing.
All right, so I want us to just talk a little bit, just out of curiosity, before I just repeat something that y'all heard. How many have seen me on YouTube? Out of curiosity, some of y'all have. There's a few, so you're going to hear some things here again. That's okay. Okay, this is important because I want everyone to understand this. So I want just a little bit more, kind of building on what Mr. Willis was talking about earlier. I want to just tell you all, as far as I'm not a politician. I've never been a politician. I work at a local company. I've got a little farm, got some sheep and goats, and I've told people before that I'd much rather just be at home right now, sitting on my chair. That's you know, dealing with my goats, watch TV, playing with the kids, right? That complacency is something that I think is taking place all across the Commonwealth, all across the U.S. Okay. Whenever some of these bills started coming forward, that's when me as an individual, I said I couldn't sit back anymore. Some of these board of supervisors, I didn't know any of them. I met them at one of the first meetings where we were talking about the Second Amendment sanctuary status. I came in there, it's kind of funny, I was standing in the back, met Mr. Morgan back there, and there was a list, piece of paper there for people to speak up to sign, and there was a pen there and it's blank. And I stood there and stared at it for about 15 to 20 minutes, and no one was walking up and signing it, and I finally said, well, I'm going to say something. I put my name on there. And you know, with what's happening, I'm not going to sit back and be quiet anymore, and that's what I have a feeling that's why everybody else is here, right? So I'm just like you guys. All you all have family, you all got jobs, you got things you're doing, right? And the point I'm trying to make here is that we're in this together, period. Now, we certainly are. We have Republican representatives here. I want to just call this out, okay? I want to make a point here. Republican versus Democrat. Let's talk about that for a second, okay? With the folks I run into some that are Democrat. But the point I'm making to them guys is the Democrats from the 80s and 90s are not the Democrats that we see today. Okay? I don't want to see any show of hands, but first Democrat in here, I'm going to tell you right now, I love you too. Because you're here because you want to protect the second. Listen, we've had some Democrats up north that have voted against some of these gun bills. Now, why am I saying that? And I'm sure the majority of us sitting here are probably Republicans. I'm going to tell you why I'm saying that. And that's because we have all got to pull together for our common good, the things that unite us. That, don't get me wrong, all the rights are important. Okay? I tell people all the time, it's like sin. Sin is sin. Okay? But when you look at all your rights, they're all equal. But my personal opinion. What else I want to say about the rights, and I'll tell you another reason why whenever I say pretty confident that we will win this. Another big part, in addition to these votes, one of the things that I think is that I don't want to be lost on anybody that I will ever talk to about this. This is going to go much further than anything that we're going to do in November, or anything we're going to vote in next year, or anything we're going to vote in probably the next 5 years. Okay? I'm looking around the room, I don't see too many 15-year-olds here. Okay? So a lot of us have been around a day or two. And if you all can think back to, about across this nation, some of the Democrats that are still in there, back in the 80s and 90s, they might have talked a little bit about abortion, right? Let's think about that abortion thing. I know it's a second minute thing, but I'm making a point here. Nowadays, think about how openly they talk about taking things to an extreme amount. Our own governor has literally, if y'all haven't seen it, you can look it up online. This ain't no lie. Okay, I'll tell you right now, I'm not a fearmonger person. You'll hear me. Everything I say tonight, folks, go home and check it. Okay? And I tell you that because I want people to understand. I do not fearmonger. If I'm wrong, I want you to call me out on it, please. Okay? But go home and look up north and whatever he talked about, taking a baby, having it be born, and having a conversation, letting that doctor and that mother